we're going to be talking about female cancers and top issues with female. If we get this rolling, Dr. Mark is going to be talking about cancer prevention. Dr. Chip is going to talk about the nervous system, and then I'm going to be talking about chronic stress and how that relates with cancer. So up first is going to be Dr. Mark with nutrition. Great.
Hello again, everybody. Good to see you. Just as a quick little history of natural health here. I've been in the office for 38 years, and we've been going strong even through this pandemic, whatever it is, deal. Helping a lot of people to get well and stay well. That's what we're here for, and we're helping people to strengthen the immune systems. Now, what's that got to do with tonight's topic? Well, I'm going to talk about cancer prevention here, but to realize that the cancer problems are an immune system problem. So we're talking about the same thing here. We've even seen now with a lot of this information coming out about the coronavirus, is that a lot of these viruses cause cancer. These coronavirus, different types of viruses, cause, or at least a big part of why cancer gets in there. So these are RNA viruses. So it's kind of the same thing. We're going to give you information about cancer, but really it's about the immune system in general. So we'll go on to our first slide, and cancer prevention, of course, is the goal. Yes, you can wait till you've got it. You can be fearful. We talk about here that people, that's the #1 fear of Americans before this virus was cancer. The word cancer, that word, you do about anything that the doctor tells you, and that's they know that too. So fear is a big part of it. And that's been, if you want to look at the medical system in general, it's run on fear. So we want to work on a different system, but we'll talk about that some other night. And Eddie will talk about it some too. But one of the first ones is optimizing your vitamin D levels. Now, you've probably been hearing about that with the coronavirus too. People are taking vitamin D, using vitamin D, watching vitamin D levels. And the thing, vitamin D has a lot to do with the immune system, a lot to do with health in general. Almost all of the organs. And an interesting thing, vitamin D is an oil-soluble vitamin, which means it comes from fats and oils. So if you've been on a low-fat diet for years because the doctor told you about heart, blah, 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 you've been on low-fat diets and things, well, you're going to have a low vitamin D level. The other problem with vitamin D is that it's an oil-soluble vitamin, and the liver has to be working correctly for you to be able to absorb and digest oils and oil-soluble vitamins. And the problem that people get into is they just think they can go to Walmart, vitamin D, 10 million, blah, 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 and just throw it in your mouth and it's all going to be well. Well, that's not how it works. Again, you look at the sources of the nutrition, what it actually is it actually D? All the Ds are just D3. Is the body able to absorb and digest it? Is the liver functioning or not? That kind of thing. So again, vitamin D level, optimize your vitamin D level is more than just taking some cheap vitamin D from Walmart or GNC. The second one, avoid eating excess protein. Now, this is a little controversial in our world because we like people to eat proteins. The thing I would agree with this is to make sure you're digesting and able to absorb protein. That's really where people have problems by eating a lot of protein. If their digestive system's not working right, usually people over age 40 or 35 even have a lowered pH of the acid in their stomach. They're not making enough hydrochloric acid in the stomach for digestion to work correctly, so they don't digest meats for a while. A lot of times your older people don't like meats, don't like heavy proteins because they just don't digest them, and it makes them have upset and things. So that's not the meat's fault, that's the digestive system's fault. And again, we bypass in our brain this thought that what we throw in our mouth automatically goes to where it's supposed to go, and that's just not the case. Not hardly ever. So we work on our nutritional response testing technique. We do a lot of work on digestion, on getting digestion to work correctly so you can absorb these good high-density proteins that have lots of good minerals, lots of vitamin D precursors and things in there, lots of things that you can use to help build the body. Of course, protein is so important for building the body. The next one here is eat living foods with amazing health benefits. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that you want to eat foods that are not been processed to the point they have no nutritional value. So eating a lot of processed foods, the stuff in cellophane in boxes, cookies, candies, cakes, crackers, all that stuff, that's all been processed to the point where there's no living enzymes in it. There's no nutritional value in it. There's nothing in it that will allow it to rot. That's why it stays on the shelves forever. It's been processed to that point. So there's nothing living in it. So that's even why in our nutritional supplement line we use, these are whole food supplements and processed in a way that keeps them alive and active, keeps the enzymes alive and active in there. So we want to try to find foods that way too. Now, another little problem we have is in that if you eat spinach, you think, well, I'm giving spinach. I mean, it's the same thing Popeye ate, so it's got to help everybody, right? Well, the thing with spinach, if you raise spinach on soil that was crappy, the spinach may be spinach, but it's not going to work like you think it's going to work. It doesn't have the minerals and things in it from the soil. So that's why organic spinach, our foods, are soils that are raised locally. Foods that are raised locally on soils that we know that are conditioned correctly, have a lot more nutritional value than foods that are just bought from who knows where. So again, the quality of the food is just as important as what the food is. So it's important to know that. That's why these living foods are so important. And you can buy green foods, like different green combinations in powder form. Well, that's great. And some of the things are pretty good, but some of them are just bad. They've been processed to the point, yes, it looks green in the bottle, but there's nothing in it that's good for you. There might be some carbs, it might have green food coloring, but again, you have to realize that just because it says on the label, look at what's in the food. If you're going to spend the money on it, make sure you're getting stuff that's really good for you and your body can absorb it and utilize it. And we, again, do a lot of testing in our nutrition response testing technique to find out the supplements and other things that are good for people that your body likes, your body can absorb and utilize as true nutrition, which helps your immune system, which helps them to avoid cancer and viruses as far as that goes. Simplify your cleaning supplies. This is a big one people forget about. Getting away from all the toxins and many of the toxins in your environment. Hard to get away from all of them, but whatever you can do, because you can't do much about air pollution. I mean, you can try to not live in downtown Los Angeles, places that are really bad, but if there's still stuff in the air, you have to be able to handle that. So you want to try to get rid of things that you can handle or can do something about. So like using detergents and things in your laundry, things that have formaldehyde, Dawn dishwashing liquid has formaldehyde in it. I think Tide does too. All really nasty chemicals that your liver has to deal with. Is very immune suppressing. So you want to try to get into things. We use the Melaleuca line here. There's other lines, but things that are a lot less toxic that your body doesn't have to deal with. And the idea there is, I'm talking to a patient today that was very interested in this. He's 93 years old, World War II veteran, really nice guy, and asked me about the immune system. And it's a thing where, unfortunately, the immune system kind of gets the shaft on the energy. And we've heard Dr. Chip talk about this before, where if you're in caveman days and you're trying to live and the tiger's chasing you, well, the body doesn't have to use the energy for the immune system. It uses the energy to try to survive that day, that time, and so the immune system doesn't get much energy. So when you're not running from the tiger, then the body has time to work on the immune system. Now it works the same way now. Our body doesn't have, or if it doesn't have much energy, it's going to use it for keeping the body alive, not so much for the immune system. So that's why we want to get the body healthy, so the body has vibrant energy and can help keep the immune system in strength at all times, not just when the bug comes around, that kind of thing. We want it that's strong at all times. And again, there's parts of the body, like the liver, that are very a big part of the immune system, but also a big part of the detox system, handling these chemicals. So the body is one big system, and you can't take one and just treat the one. That's the other problem with mainstream medicine. It's very compartmentalized. You got the heart doctor, and they got the proctologist, and the foot doctor, and the dentist, and everything is all everybody's separate. So that's not a very good way of getting total health, looking at a holistic health approach. The next one is using. I have the next slide. Using greener beauty products. And this is especially for the gals. This is kind of the Women's Cancer Night and Women's Health Issues this month. Greener beauty products. So what that means is getting away from makeups and hair things and stuff that have lots of chemicals. I'm going to try to avoid the chemicals because again, in the hair, the face, the nails, different things like that. Things where it can be absorbed, especially in the head and the scalp. And we're a lot of women are dealing with the breast cancer. That's a big one. And of course, if you're getting chemicals and things around the face, that's close to the area, lymphatic drainage, all that kind of stuff. So just important to be aware. Try to make choices there that there's brands out there that are not full of chemicals, but there's brands out there that are really full of chemicals. So they're the cheaper stuff. So you want to try to find better stuff. And we, again, test patients here with a nutrition response testing to find out what works best for them, what their bodies can handle easily of even the beauty products, any kind of products going on there. Let's see. The next one is ditch your non-stick cookware. So the cookware that a lot of people use, the non-stick stuff, kind of got to redo this. The PFOAs in there, the what's the special word for that? Anyway, non-stick stuff. That chemical coating it flakes off, and it's very carcinogenic in the body. So we want to try to get away from that non-stick stuff. The good old cast iron skillets were the best thing. They've always been the best thing. You can get some iron from that, and they're just a pain to clean. I realize that, but you can use oils and things and help the body to work with that. So a Teflon is the word I'm looking for. Teflon, that Teflon coating, that's the PFOAs. That has to do with, again, the chemicals used with that. Very, very carcinogenic. And they all know that, but they're still selling them. If people are dumb enough to buy them, well then, they're going to have, another problem or another possible problem there. Just want to try to get rid of those problem causers. And there's other things out there besides cast iron, but cast iron is one of the better ones. Drink clean, pure